Hello, boils and ghouls. Creepycriggly here. It's time to buckle up for Season 1 of Creepycriggly's Dark Road Tales. And if you are a fan of scary tales that are many times based on true events, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And now, without further ado, I present to you Camping at Lake Huron, the scary night of foggy terror.
It was late September 2002. This happened to me when I was 21 and my girlfriend at the time when she was 20. My girlfriend Megan and I wanted to get out of town, and we decided to go camping in a wooded and secluded section of a park by Lake Huron. After setting up our tent and campsite, I decided to collect more firewood from fallen branches and limbs on the ground. Gazing out across the inky blackness of night, I could only see a few feet in any direction. A thick fog was rolling in, and it was difficult to see more than a few feet in front of me. The only light came from the campfire. I was straining my eyes to see through the fog. While still gathering wood for the fire, I was getting frustrated that I couldn't see where I was going and tripped a few times. Suddenly, I heard the sound of leaves crunching not too far away. I listened closely and realized that someone was walking towards me. I froze, not knowing whether to call out or wait to see who or what it was. But when I stopped walking, whoever or whatever also stopped walking. I brought the armful of wood back to camp and dropped it near the campfire. Megan was bundled up drinking hot chocolate. I sat next to her and quietly whispered to her.
I heard footsteps out there while I was collecting wood. I don't know if it was human or animal, but I don't think we're alone.
Well, that was a mistake. She was starting to get scared now. We had a can of bear mace in my backpack, so I took it out and handed it to her, saying, "Here, keep this close to you. Better safe than sorry." Bear mace is by far more powerful than regular mace. It sprays further, about 30 feet or more, and it will fend off a bear, and if it will fend off a bear, it will most likely fend off any predator in the woods. But we only had one can of it. Megan seemed to feel better having the can in her hands, but was noticeably still quite nervous. I tried to ease her tension by striking up a conversation about when we met in high school. It seemed to help. Then she quietly asked,
"Do you think whatever's walking out there is gone?"
I assured her, "I'm sure it is, and it was probably a critter." We made some s'mores, and after a while, it was time to bring our belongings inside the tent and douse the campfire. Then we crawled inside our sleeping bags and kissed each other goodnight. Once I heard Megan's cute girly snore, I rested easier knowing she was okay, and I too fell asleep. Something woke me up. Whether it was a dream or a sound outside, I do not know, but I was awake and listening intently to the sounds outside. The sounds of someone walking across our campsite. I sat up to look out the tent window, and what I saw scared the hell out of me. It was a creepy-looking man, and he was less than 10 feet from our tent. He was holding a large hunter's knife in his right hand and walking around the picnic table. I slowly leaned over Megan to feel for the bear spray that I thought she placed next to her, but I didn't feel it. I didn't want to wake her, because she was easily startled and most likely would have alerted the man that we were both awake. If I were to have any advantage, it would be the element of surprise. I pulled Megan's backpack slowly toward me to feel inside of it. I reached in and pulled out the can of bear spray. Holding the bear spray in my right hand and carefully and slowly unzipping the tent door, I mentally prepared myself what I was about to do. I was going to leap out and spray this creep right in his face. And if I needed to, crack his skull with one of the thicker sticks I had set near the tent to poke the fire with. I readied myself, then leaped out of our tent and aimed the bear spray outward toward the picnic table, but the man was already gone. Megan woke up and asked,
What are you doing?
I didn't answer her. I turned and looked around the campsite for him. He was nowhere in sight, but I had a strong feeling he was watching me from the thickness of the fog. I told Megan, some creepy man was poking around at our site, but I think he's gone.
Are you sure?
She groggily asked. I answered, I don't see him now, but he was snooping around our campsite and he was holding a long knife. We should call the park ranger. Megan pulled out her cell phone and turned it on.
I'm calling right now.
She urgently replied. I saw something was freshly carved into our picnic table. The words, I see you. I picked the long poke stick up and leaned it against the tent next to me. Part of me wanted to go look for the man, but with the fog, that wasn't a great idea. Besides, I didn't want to leave Megan. I remained there, carefully scanning the area within my view for any movement or any sound. Megan reached the park ranger's office and reported the incident. A park ranger arrived at our campsite about 20 minutes later and patrolled around it. He did not see any sign of the man. He advised us to move our camp about a mile away. There were other campers there and it would be safer for us, he said. We didn't really want to be around other people, but we weren't going to stay there either. We both decided it was best to leave. The park ranger was kind enough to wait for us as we packed up, then he followed us out of the park. I was feeling a mixture of emotions on the way to the exit. Anger, fear, disappointment. But the strongest emotion I felt violated. But I should also feel grateful. We survived a scary night of foggy terror.